just try to actually the history is regarding 呢個種係咪 it relates to 取緣啊，好 okay let's see first CEE I will Google translate English for you 取緣啊，好呢 so he came already okay we commemorate for 取緣啊，好 so how to know him so let me try to ask the Google a little bit how come 司法不好 not right okay this one 取缘okay well you see it is dated back to quite early before Christ 取缘 I think he is a minister well let me try to Google translate a little bit detect the language choose another language English okay let's take a look yes this is story regards 取缘okay basically you see before Christ, it happened before Christ, 342278 before Christ. Shakyamuni is before Christ, 545. Late, not early than Shakyamuni, but before Christ. See, so you got the surname and the courtesy name is a Yuan. Okay, what happens that you see, he uses courtesy name as his name Well, basically, Qu Yuan I think he was a good minister because during the government I think because it happened that in the government it's not running well at that time, so he tried to do some proposal Then later on, after the proposal, you see, was not accepted by the king, by the emperor So later on, he wrote something to express his dissatisfaction and then later on he commits suicide and jumped to the river so later on people in order to commemorate him so they will throw all the dumpling so that all the fish will eat the dumpling instead of his corpse so this is how we eat the dumpling during the 端午节 okay let's go a little bit detail see how is it you see well, a little bit detailed, but it will maybe involve some history of the China. He was a poet and politician, see or not, during the warring stick period. Warring stick, we call it a warring stick, so 三国 let's see first. Warring stick 475 before Christ, 不是战国 the warring stick Then a little bit of a see okay. Then family background, no need the bond, no need. So we just try to go to see why he go to jump to the river left is a lot of things to see. Now giant statue of a Qu Yuan is a Jingzhou in China still we can see some statue to commemorate him Then later on second exile, well usually we call it as exile. The computer society come you see. King Zhao Xiang of the Qing is a Qin dynasty This one Qin is a 秦齐王嗰個 Qin 嚟嘅was no satisfaction with the compromise and concession of the king, Qing Xiang of the Chu, see not? So in the 19 years of the king, Qin general Simo Chu attacked Chu, and the Chu seated Sang Yu and Han Bei, very tough to understand in English. So later on, okay, it described this as a chaotic situation. Okay, so Qu Yuan went west along the river, waiting to see his devastated motherland and the king of Chu, whom he had insisted all his life. As a result, he only saw the step-by-step advance of the powerful Qin and the corruption and the stupidity of the Chu courts. See or not? So meaning to say, he really is the patriotist, he loved his country a lot. So, due to the devastation, so he go to jump to the river for the disappointment. Okay, so this is a little bit about the story. Let's see first. Okay, then watch his motherland go ruined step by step. He cannot do anything, so he buried the idea of sacrificing his life for his country. Okay, so he wrote this is called Li Sao So that is something he left for us. Li Sao. Okay, let's see first. He stayed contemporary soon after he went down to the Yuan River. Okay, so let's see first. Okay. Would you like to read a little bit the thesis he wrote before he jumped to the river? You want a little bit in English? One, okay. So let me try Google Translate for you a little bit. See how was the article? Is it? So we call it as a Li Sao. Li Sao. Li Sao. Si Ao Sao. Si Ao Sao. Okay, this is the Li Sao lah. Well, let's see first. Actually, this is the poet lah. Let's see first. Okay, wait. Okay. Let's see now. Now, Li Sao is the poem written by the Chu Yuan, a poem during the Warring States period in China. It is the longer lyrics poem in ancient China. So remember the Li Sao. The poem is centered on the poet's self-narration of his life experience and aspiration. The first half repeatedly expresses the poet's concern for the fate of the state of the Chu and the life of people, his desire for political reform, and this will to uphold his idea and never compromise with the evil force despite disasters. So meaning to say that he is really patriotic. So the origin of the tumbling has something to do with the patriotic and involves some committed suicide. So far, is there any politicians commit suicide during the devastation of the country or not? So far, can you quote any example? No lah. I mean the modern politicians not used to do that lah. They used to become frog lah, jumping from one party to another party. Okay. So we just see the later part. I'll see what it means. What does that mean? You see, the second half one reflect the poet's love for his country and the people through his wandering in the heaven, his pursuit of his idea, and his desire to sacrifice his life after the failure. See or not? Then he said the poet uses a metaphor of a beautiful woman and the fragrant herbs, a large number of the myth and the legend, and the rich imagination to form a brilliant literary style and magnificent structure, showing a positive romantic spirit and creating the South style pottery from the history of the China literature. So which has a profound impact on the later generation. Really, I don't think so. We just know how tumbling only. We just know the gan shui chung and the ham chung. The rest we don't know. That is the impact we know already. Actually, we are considered intellectual. We should go deep a little bit. More than eating the dumpling, right, Mr. Leong? Then see la last sentence. Okay, its main annotated version including Wang Yi's Chu Qi Changzhu in the Eastern Han Dynasty, Chu Zi blah 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 blah. See or not? So I still don't I don't think the abolishment of vernacular school is a good idea, because by knowing the Chinese we can unlock the civilization for 5,000 years. See or not? I think Elena said maybe you can Google Translate, but I think we can really understand the spirit only by knowing the Mandarin. I think using Mandarin to read can understand better. So it shouldn't, the vernacular school should be maintained so that convenience for us to understand the 5,000 civilization. Okay, agree or not? Agree, agree, the vernacular school supposed to be maintained. Not no, like Lena should say yes. Okay, so we start our class now. Okay, class, let's take a look. Basically, we go back to, it's about to the page 119 lah, my PDF file. We talk about the Mahayana philosophy, the varieties of the emptiness. Okay, so class, if you remember that, basically, can you tell me what chapter is this, Elena? What chapter is this? What chapter is this? Can you find for me? On the mic, please, Elena.
5.
5. Let's take a look. So it's the Mahayana philosophy, the varieties of the emptiness. Meaning to say, we are still in the first part. Though later on, we go to the Yogacara school. So what does mean the variety of the emptiness? Basically, according to Madhyamaka, meaning to say that everything is subject to the cause and condition. Even though when you try to analyze the body to the rupa, meaning to say it's a rupa klapa, just like the cell nowadays. If you further analyze it, then you will see that it formed from various of the components. Okay, so meaning to say that the meaning of emptiness doesn't mean empty or nothing. It means that it comes from different conditions. Okay, including the nibbana itself. So for the for the Madhyamika, if you reach the nibbana, meditate until the nibbana, the nibbana itself, there was nothing to attain as a Buddhahood by itself. So for the Madhyamika, they say that once you attain to the Buddhahood itself is also subject to the emptiness. You get it or not? So that's why the moment you chant the Heart Sutra, always they will say that no such, no Four Noble Truth, no ignorance. Remember? Why everything have been negated? Because you say you try to negate everything to show the emptiness itself. Because once you try to say something is emptiness, meaning to say it is not empty anymore. Get it or not? So this is this school emphasize that you shouldn't say that attaining nibbana is attaining something. It is wrong. Even the nibbana itself is subject to the emptiness. Okay, so that is the meaning. So now we come to the conventional truth. A conventional truth is the meaning to say in our wordling. Okay, basically we understand everything is based on condition. Okay, but anyway, the world we are living is not in the ultimate truth situation. We're in the conventional truth. We subject to the rules of the conventional truth. So even though we know that emptiness, but if you go to work, you must be punctual. Elena, if you say your staff tell you that, according to the Heart Sutra, everything is empty, so no need to be punctual. So how are you going to answer him, Elena? If your staff is a Buddhist,
no need to go to work.
No, I will say, I will cut your salary because the salary itself also subject to the condition. Then he know he has to be punctual. So that's why sometimes people get confused. The ultimate truth, they will bring the ultimate truth to the conventional truth. It's very confusing. You must segregate it. So now we go to talk about the conventional truth. Okay. So, yes, Mei, can you please read the passage for the conventional
I have a question, Sifu. I have a question, Sifu.
Yes, ask first. Yeah.
Because Buddha once say yesterday is yesterday, today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, then people will use this as excuse. So how to differentiate the line?
So what's your question?
Yesterday is yesterday. Buddha say yesterday is yesterday, today is today, then tomorrow is tomorrow. Then people might use it as excuse. So what is the true wisdom and the excuse? What is the line between that?
No. Usually we answer that if without yesterday, how can you have today? If without today, how can we have tomorrow? So actually, every day there is some relationship. So the statement you quote is not very proper because it doesn't show the relationship between past, present, and future. They got the relationship even though they are independent. Okay. So whatever you do, they have some effect to today. So the thief said that I still in yesterday. So today is a different, but without, what you steal yesterday, it will carry forward the karma to today. So you still have to bear the responsibility. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Maybe you can read the passage. Conventional truth. Okay. Please.
Conventional truth and language. The Madhyamika school hold that confusion over the nature of phenomenon arises because people do not understand how the Buddha taught according to two levels of truth and or reality. Conventional truth, reality, samyusatya, and profound ultimate truth, reality, paramatta satya. The concept of two level of truth already existed in Abhidhamma. There, conventional truths were those expressed using terms such as person and thing. Ultimate truth is more exact, expressed by talking of Dharma and the ultimate realities. For Madhyamika writers, however, talks of Dharma is just another kind of provisional conventional truth. Such conventional truth should not confuse with ultimate truth. That is truth about supposedly is essential ultimate reality. To see them like this is illusional. The real ultimate truth is that all things discussed in terms of conventional truth are empty of ultimate essential reality. They are indeed conventional. Seeing them thus is wisdom leading to non-attachment to conventional realities, but a greatly enhanced ability to skillfully work with them. To think that because a word exists, there must be some real and self-enclosed entity in the extra-linguistic world that this refers to is to make the mistake of reification, turning words into things. Ordinary language references to such things as self, space, time, road, thoughts, hunger do not mean that reality includes any of these as essential entities. They are simply useful concepts in certain contexts. For the Madhyamikas, true statement at the conventional levels are true because humans agree to use concept in certain ways. Because of linguistics conventions, ice is cold is true because ice is a term used to describe a form of water which is experienced as cold. The term of language arises because from the continuous flux of experience discriminating conceptualization, prapancha, abstract various segments and takes them to be separate entities and qualities with nature, with fixed nature. This then becomes focuses of attachment. The language construct prajapati, which are labels for them, are interrelated in many ways. They gain their meaning from how they are used in relationship to their to other concepts by not referring to objective reference existing outside language. Yet, while language determines how we experience the world, it does not bring things into existence. It too is a dependent, empty phenomenon. A particular thing enter the human world by being discriminated through a name or concept, but this exists in relation to a something to which it is applied. Both name and perceived form exist in relationship to each other.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, finish. Okay, class, there's got a few words. I found that this is quite interesting. Number one, let's take a look. Language construct prajnapti. Okay. Second is the discriminating conceptualizations, prapancha. Okay, how do we understand? What does it mean? We call it as a conventional truth and ultimate truth. Basically, when we try to analyze the world, especially this human, to the inseparable entity, we call it as the ultimate truth. So in Abhidhamma, once we try to analyze our thought and also our physical body, it will go to the finest particle, we call it as the rupa kalapa, especially the physical body. When you go to the rupa kalapa, I think it's quite close to the self nowadays. So we call it as the ultimate truth. Inside the kalapa, the cell, we can see what the earth, fire, water, air elements, and also we can see other elements just like the color and etc. So they are the most fundamental components within a cell. So the most fundamental components are like air, water, fire elements. You can't see them exist by itself. It can only exist within the cell only, within the rupa kalapa only. So Abhidhamma mentioned that once you further, if you're able to analyze the body, we come to the finest point, and inside all the elements, they call it as the ultimate truth, conventional truth. Besides, for our mentality, if you analyze our thought to the single moment, in every single moment, you will see the Jeta and Cetasika. That is also the ultimate truth. And one more ultimate truth is what? Is our Nibbana. So totally we've got 4 ultimate truths. But this is Abhidhamma. But for the Madhyamika, Madhyamika insists that only Nibbana is the ultimate truth. The rest is still considered conventional truth. Okay, so for the text, for the whole text just now is mentioned. They say that usually human, in order to communicate, we'll try to conceptualize the world. Meaning to say that we are living a world having conceptualized. Why? Because you see, for example, now I'm able to see Elena and also to see the Sally. Okay, yes. Okay, so as for Sally, Elena, basically both of them are okay. Like for example, okay, we see Sally and Mei. Both of them are wearing spectacles. Why I don't confuse them, Mr. Leong? Why I don't confuse between Mei and Sally even though both are wearing spectacles? Mr. Leong, why?
Different identities in the form of a shape, size, and things like that.
Yeah, the shape and the size. Yeah, shape and the size. Meaning to say that also a lot of features is quite different. Right now. Okay. So for example, the Sally. Mr. Leong, if let's say Sally it exists, right? So Sally has been conceptualized by the name. So since I call Sally, I call Mei, we won't be confused. But how can I deprive the Sally, the name as a concept from Sally? Mr. Leong, do you have any idea to separate the name, the concept from Sally or not?
Is by maybe naming or labeling.
Yeah. You see, Mr. Leong, if let's say for Sally, I try to dissect Sally, I separate the hair, the eye, the lung, and also the skin. Okay, I just try to dissect whole Sally. So, Mr. Leong, is Sally exists anymore once I dissect the whole Sally? No more, right?
You dissect every part of
yeah, I dissect every part of the body. So Sally no more there already, right? Mr. Leong, right? Yeah. So meaning to say the name will based on what? The form of the Sally. So I put the name. But anyway, so at this moment we will see the lung, we will see the skin, we will see the hair. Okay. But anyway, you still can label many things, right? Hair. Okay. If that's the case, what should I go further so that the concept of the hair, the lung, and the skin, and the various of our organ also will disappear. Mr. Leong?
By disintegrating it or cutting it into smaller pieces like an atom.
Yes, that's true. So during the Vipassana, this is how they do. I found, actually, I like Buddhism a lot because the way they do the Vipassana is very wisdom. Like this, you see, if you go further again, so everything no more exists anymore. So same, so meaning to say that the way to segregate the concept is keep on analyzing. This is one way of the Vipassana, which is stated very clearly in Abhidhamma and also in the Mahayana Sutta. Okay, so this is how. But anyway, even though but if let's say you go further some more, then what will appear? Mr. Leong, once you analyze for the atom, and then you keep on observe the atom rise and fall. What is the consequence of that?
We can come to emptiness.
No, yes, that is the Nibbana will appear once the mature of the Vipassana. That is the skill they're using. Of course, they still want some detail. This is the reason why once I talk about the Pure Land, when we reach the Pure Land, what to do, usually the sutta not very clear. Don't know what to do actually in the Pure Land. So I prefer integrate this part. I think once we reach the Pure Land, we should further do all this samatha vipassana. There will be more logic, not just stay there only, right? So this is how we integrate that. So you know that Buddhism is very wisdom type. You go further because according to Buddhism, it said that why we have all the defilement. The reason is you see once I see something, for example, this handphone. This handphone come to my brain. So in my brain, actually the handphone it appears in the wrong view. So when it goes to our brain, handphone maybe is not a good example. I think maybe the money, maybe the faith, nowadays many things it come to our brain. So for us, even though it is come from in a very compactness, it comes to compactness, and then our mind we interpret it as beautiful, and it is permanent, and it is very pure. So we start to love it and attach to it. See or not? So if you are able to use the vipassana to analyze it to the finest particle, so finally you notice that is the truth. Actually, this is not that permanent, it's not that beautiful, and it's not that pure. Then the defilement will not be that strong. So same what we do. If let's say you hit somebody, why we hit somebody is because in our wrong view that the guy we hit is very real, it's very real. So sometimes even though we don't have the jhana, but in our brain we try to analyze it. Analyze it. So when we keep on analyzing, it seems that our anger, no place to put, right? Even the anger must be anger with somebody. But finally, after analyze, you anger with nobody. So the anger may be gone. For somebody, it works. Remember, during you do the chanting, the Sui Chan, actually, during the chanting Sui Chan, Liang Wang Bao Chan, it mentioned this before, I think you don't know. Because it's just chanting on it, right? So actually, Liang Wang Bao Chan mentioned this thing. So I can quite sure that the Chinese monk, they know all these things very well. So they put in the text. But nowadays, our repentance is very richer. We just keep on chanting. It's for the merit. But we don't know actually the profound the wisdom actually is in the Liang Wang Bao Chan. Okay, get it or not? So we try to use it. If one day here, actually, we got a few actually, we have very good fundamental in samatha. So please go further. Go and do the vipassana to experience this part. But for Madhyamika, usually, even though it comes from a meditation experience, but it ends up is very famous in the academic field. Why? Because the definition, a lot of things is very obscure and got so many schools, so it's very suitable for academic study. But this is not our direction, because finally you write a lot of thesis in the paper, but the defilement is still there. So I prefer our student. After this, go to meditation rather than go to the university to further analyze the thing or to further writing the thesis. Okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. So this is a few things. What is the meaning for the whole sentence? Let's come and take a look. You see, two levels of the truth. One is a conventional. So the name Pali is a samvriti satcha. We read as a satcha. So that is a paramata satcha. Yes. The conventional truth, ultimate truth. I think you hear it many times. Why do I say so, Sally? Actually, you are very familiar with the conventional truth and ultimate truth. You know why, Sally? On the mic.
Very
How what?
I said forgotten why, but then it's very, very familiar.
Very familiar. Erti vihara, erti mean double truth. It's a conventional ultimate truth.
Correct.
You don't know.
Alamak, sorry.
Yeah, you even don't forget that the temple you used to come. Actually, that is the meaning erti. Erti mean double truth. Conventional truth and ultimate truth. Okay. But usually people will say, are you making mistake, master? I think it should be Four Noble Truth. But they don't know. I refer is the Abhidhamma is a conventional truth and ultimate truth. I think this is not as common as Four Noble Truth. So people thought I make a mistake. Okay, so remember our logo? We got a hand, got the two. That is a double truth. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the meaning. You see, now you see that's the definition. Conventional truth usually is a person and the thing. So in Nikaya, a lot of person and the thing appear. If you study Abhidhamma, you never see a person, a thing, and a name. Everything in the Abhidhamma is mentioned just the Dhamma only. What does the Dhamma mean? Actually, the Dhamma mean the Cetta, Cettasika, and also the Rupa. That is the Dharma means here. Analyze certain thing to the finest particular part. Then let's see. You see, no. You see, for the Madhyamika writers, the talk of the Dharma is just another kind of provisional, conventional truth. You see, no. Then you say, the real ultimate truth is that all things discussed in terms of conventional truth are empty of ultimate essential reality. You see, because the real ultimate truth, we still have to discuss it. So we are using the conventional truth to discuss it. See, no? So you see, leading to the non-attachment to the conventional reality, like the Heart Sutra, you see. I think maybe if you keep on chanting, you see, you have you ever heard about that? Somebody said they keep on chanting the Diamond Sutra, they found that they will feel a little bit detachment. Because they keep on chanting, they keep on mentioning to you that wherever you see just like a bubble, wherever you see just like a hallucination, you keep on telling yourself you will feeling less detached to it. Rather than people keep on telling you that, oh, how real and how beautiful, see or not. So that's why even though Jin Gang Jing, Heart Sutra, all is in the conventional truth, because that is the name but the conventional truth is leading you to the non-attachment. So that's why we still need that. Okay, there is a very famous example mentioning that the literature of the Dharma is very important. Okay, because I see we really need you see if Buddha after Parinibbana, he said nothing. He don't leave any writings for us. Then how can we go to the Nibbana, right? Because we need because the wording from the Buddha can construct a map for us. So we get a map, we know how to meditate and how to go in. So there's one very good example to mention regards this. Elena, do you remember or not? Okay. You remember that always, okay, you see, when we chant the sutra keep on mention us that, there will be somewhere is the Nibbana, then you should do the Sila Samadhi Prajna in order to attain to that Nibbana. But if let's say, you ignore, you don't go to meditate accordingly, but you just keep on play with the sentence, with the vocab. What does that mean? Will you lead to the Nibbana or not? You won't, right? Because you don't transfer, the knowledge to the experience. So the analogy usually we mention is the purpose of the language is just like a finger pointing to the moon. See or not? When the sutra keep on mentioning there's the nibbana, just like using the finger to point to the moon. But sometimes people they forget the moon, but they just keep on looking at the finger. Just like we always over attach to the language, to the writing in the sutra, but we ignore the meaning behind. So usually it's that. But the finger is very important. Without the finger, then where do we know the direction of the moon? Right or not? So it's very important. And in Jing Jing always also mentioned, they say, once you reach to the soul, the opposite soul, okay, you reach the soul by the boot, right? B-O-A-T, by the boot. When you reach the soul, should you carry the boot to the, how to say to go to the harbor or not? We don't, right? When you reach, you just abandon it. So our language just like the boat. Once you go to the deep Samatha Vipassana, we have to forget the language. Don't keep on mentioning the language. But for us, in order, because in a very early stage, in order to encourage people, to do more reading, so we said the merit of chanting is very, very, very strong and very good to encourage people. But sometimes people they cannot forget the merit. They keep on doing the chanting without understand the meaning behind. That is the different problem already. So get it or not? So remember in Mahayana, they keep on, because at that time, the writing is not common, even though the printing is not advanced. So the best way is we tell people that do more chanting, do more printing in order to get more merit. So people keep on, we do the chanting, copying, and printing by that time. But now, no. Now if you print 1,000 of the Jing Jing for me, I say, please bring back because here no market. No market, no people want already. Everybody go to online. So we have to understand that. This changing already. Okay, so you can understand here is the meaning but of course it comes a little bit complicated. You see, is that they say the real self-enclosed entity in the extra linguistic word that it referred to. Well, I think this is a very good English. But you say the self, space, time, all this do not mean that reality itself include any of this as essential entity. See or not? I think this English I think I'm not able to write it out. What standard of this? I think Mr. Leong, do you think you must be the foreigner then able to write this type of English, or the Easterner also can write this type of language? Mr. Leong, you think?
I think you need to have a deeper understanding.
Then you can write.
Yes, a more accurate and more discrete description of you're just going to say.
And then it totally, you don't have the feel of the Chinese, right? It's not a Chinese English, it's very good English, right? Am I right?
Yeah, but then the thing is, Chinese one word can mean a lot of things, which is more deeper than in English. Because English, you have to write a novel in order to describe the thing.
Yeah, do you see or not? The way I highlight, sometimes I encounter difficulty. In Mandarin, the way I do a highlight, one word can represent many things. But English, it involves whole text, you see. So sometimes the way I write, it doesn't go in accordance to the English language. You know this or not? So please forgive me because the language is really different. I can't do the way as Chinese do. But anyway, from here, we know already. Ananda CJ, when do you start call yourself as Ananda? Because so many Ananda in the world. Don't you need to have consider another option? 终结. No need to consider another option. No need. So you keep on Ananda. Can you on the mic? Yes. So you are Ananda B They got Ananda A in body. Am I right? 菩提工作坊 is Ananda A You Ananda B right?
Sifu, he is Ananda who is closest to the Buddha.
Ananda CJ. Okay lah. Okay, chook little bit. Okay, let we go back to our real one. So come here. So that's the meaning here. Then finally, let's take a look. You see, because of the linguistic, let's see first. Now you see, he say, human agree to use the concept in certain way because of the linguistic convention. So because we're using the conventional to construct our word. Let's see, you see here, you see, language determines how we experience the world. It doesn't bring things into existence. So meaning to say that language, like I say, okay, or I see Sally, see or not? So Sally Lee, it refers Sally. So the moment when I talk to Elena, I say, why don't you invite Sally out for a cup of coffee? Immediately in our mind, the Sally will appear and the coffee will appear. Then maybe that's the picture come. So this is how we conceptualize the world. See or not? But of course, because some very rare different cases. Have you ever heard about Helen Keller? Class, anybody heard about Helen Keller? Helen Keller, Elena, have you ever heard about Helen Keller or not? So this is the Helen Keller, okay? Well, why she's so famous? Because she can't speak. She can't hear, okay, but she can't speak, she can't hear, and she can't she is dumb and she can't speak, but she able to finish the degree in the Cambridge. Then she contribute a lot to helping I think maybe what movement or what but you see in order okay, can you tell me that how can a people cannot talk, cannot hear, cannot speak to finish the degree in the Cambridge? Even you and I also can feel very tough, right? The course. But how come somebody like that can do that? Yes, Ananda, what do you think? Yes.
I don't know.
You don't know how? Okay. Okay. The life of Helen Keller start to change once she start meet her teacher. Okay, Helen Keller, you see. Once she start to meet her teacher. So this is the teacher Helen Keller meets. Okay, see or not? Now, this is the teacher of Helen Keller, okay? Helen Keller, any civilian, okay? How can a teacher is going to teach the student like that? He try to conceptualize the whole world by using the touching. For example, he give a piece of cake to Helen Keller to smell. Then there's a cake, C-A-K-E, right? So he bring his hand, C-A-K-E, like that. So meaning to say that what her teacher tried to do is conceptualize the whole world by using the touching. Because she cannot hear, she cannot see, and she cannot speak. The only thing is using the touching. So that is the word we use, conceptualize the word by using the touching. So in a simple way, her brain, because our different part of the brain, I have a different job to do, right, to conceptualize the word. I think all the part of the brain will be used only for touching only. So I think Helen Keller must be a very smart girl, even though she handicapped. So finally, she is able to, by using just touching and to finish the degree in the Cambridge. So that is the meaning here. So class, let's take a look. So this is our brain. Nowadays in science, we know the different part of the brain, they play the different roles. See or not? I see or not? So this is the brain. So this part of the brain is for the taste. So this part of the brain is for the eye, for the sight, occipital lobe. So this is the part of the brain is for hearing, is the temporal lobe. So this is the part of the brain for the nose. in the simple way, for Helen Keller, she cannot see. So meaning to say, the skin part, the touching, we use up the sign part and the sound part, all these three parts, they will use it. So finally, her brain will make full use of the whole thing. So she's able to conceptualize the whole words and make it logic and transform to the proper language for us. So finally, she can finish the degree. So that is the meaning of conceptualize. But in the Dharma, I mentioned that this type of people cannot attain Nibbana. How about Helen Keller? Are you agree or not? Or you think Helen Keller, if let's say she can conceptualize the whole world, maybe she can attain Nibbana or Samadhi? Elena, what do you think? You think can she attain Samadhi or not?
I don't know, Sifu.
Oh, quite hard to answer, right? Quite hard. No? Mr. Liao, what do you think, Mr. Liao? Can you teach Helen Keller by touching that to reach to the Samadhi, you think?
Can. The teacher must be very good.
The teacher must be very good. Actually, actually in our commonly our text is mentioned that they can hardly, they cannot. But of course, nowadays, because now she met a different teacher, and actually Helen Keller is normal before the fever during, I think maybe at 3 or 4 years old. So meaning to say, in the very beginning, she is the normal in the brain one. But later on, because the fever caused her handicap. Well, in Buddhism, we say that if you inborn cannot hear, cannot see, you cannot attain to the Samadhi, even at the Vipassana. Probably, I think you have to analyze further. If let's say you inborn, maybe at that time, there's no such thing by using the hand side to conceptualize the idea for them at that time. Maybe number one. Second, maybe something wrong with their brain. Because nowadays we notice that to attain Samadhi, there will be some nimitta appear in the brain. And then once the people handicapped with this different part, maybe that part of the brain cannot function because we don't know that which part of the brain really involved during attain to the Samadhi. Nowadays, even the science can explain the whole thing. So I think there will be some hope if you're able to meet a good teacher to conceptualize the idea to do the meditation. Or, according to the text, there's no hope for them. Okay? So that is the meaning for here. Okay, again, let's go back to the text. See, so according to mention, it says, see, now we've got two words: discriminating conceptualization, prapancha, and the language construct, prajnapti, which are labeled for them are interrelated in many ways. That's what I talk, but I speak in a more simple English. Here is a very good English. So you see, discriminate through a name or a concept. So we're able to tell by using the name and the concept. And the both name and the perceived form exist in relationship to each other. They have a relationship. Like Sally have relationship with the name of Sally. But actually, Sally itself, it doesn't really exist. But we need it for the communication. Yes, Mr. Liao, any question? Yes.
Sifu, actually nowadays with a medical advance in what you call the technology, I think they also can affect the brain function better now than previous, because last time they do not have this advanced medical equipment or things to help them.
Yeah. You mean nowadays? I heard that nowadays they just adjust. They put some device in the brain, wherever you think it can come like that, right? Am I right?
The frequency, something like that.
Yeah. Because nowadays, I think it's have a good hope for them, but we don't know. We wait and see any people handicapped. I mean, they can't see, they can't hear. See whether they can really meditate or what. We wait and see. I think the hope. We see the hope better than 1,000 years ago. Okay, we finished this part already. Now we go to the second part. We go to the emptiness again. Okay, yes, emptiness. Yes, okay. Sally, can you please read the passage emptiness?
And in this that we did practice each and
Okay, Sally, can you stop, Sally? Sally, your sound system is not very good. I think let Ananda read in the Sunyata Vatin.
In the Sunyatavadin perspective, each phenomenon lacks in inherent nature, and so all are said to share an empty non-nature as their nature. Thus, one Dhamma cannot ultimately be distinguished from another. The notion of the sameness of Dhammas, their shared nature, is emptiness, sunyata. As the Heart Sutra says, whatsoever is material forms, that is emptiness. And whatso is emptiness, that is material forms. And similarly for the other four bundles making up a person's. Emptiness, though, is not same's ultimate basis and substance of the world, like the Brahmans of the Upanishads. It implies that no such self-existent substance exists. The world is a web of fluxing, interdependent, baseless phenomena. Nagarjuna, in fact, equates emptiness with the principle of conditions arising. For this logical leads to it, whatever is conditions arising, that is explained to be emptiness. That being a dependence designation, prajnapati, is itself the middle way, buddhism-mahayana. Emptiness then is an adjectival qualities of dhammas. Their dependence, non-ultimacy, not a substance which compose them. It is neither a thing nor it is nothingness. Rather, it refers to the essencelessness of reality, which cannot be captured by concept with their tendency to bridge reifications. Some have seen modern physics as containing parallels to this perspective. When the solid object of common sense reality were first analyzed, they were seen to consist of empty space and protons, neutrons and electrons. Classical physics saw this as hard, indivisible particles, the ultimate building blocks of metals. But further analysis showed them to consist of a whole range of odd particles such as quartz, whose nature is bound up with the force through which they interact. Metals turns out to be a mysterious field of interactions, with particles not being real separate entities, but provisional conceptual designations.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, okay, last passage. Now let Mr. Leong, can you please read for me? Critics.
Critics from the early schools saw, excuse me, saw the emptiness teaching as implying that the four true realities of the spiritually ennobled were themselves empty, thus subverting the Buddha's teaching. In reply, Nagarjuna argued that it is the notion of Dhamma with inherent nature and hence inherent existence, which subverts the teachings of the four true realities. If dukkha had inherent existence, it would be causeless and eternal, and could never be brought to an end. If the path had inherent existence, it could never be gradually developed to perfection in a person, for he or she would either have it or not have it. In a world of entities with inherent existence, all change and activity would be impossible. Everything would be static and eternal. It is because everything is empty that there can be activity, including spiritual development. An analogy here is that the decimal number system would collapse without the quantity zero.
Okay, thank you so much. Madhyama. Okay, finish. Once we talk about for the Madhyamika, there will be one Chinese word we're going to use regards for this. We call it as inherent existence. Maybe you try to write it 自性间 inherent existence. Okay, maybe class you try to write it. So that is the substitution of the ignorance. During the Madhyamika, they never mentioned the ignorance, avijja, but they will use the this one, 自性间 inherent, what I forget, let's see, is this inherent existence. So these words they try to use to explain that because you possess this inherent existence, so you have a you have a perception that everything is never changing. You will keep on like that. It says it is static and never change. But actually, that is the wrong view. So you have to during the vipassana they will try to eliminate this 自性见 so that you will see everything is based on the condition. That is the special thing for the Madhyamika. I think CJ you have finished 中间 you have finished 中观 right? 中观论颂 so that is the 自性见 mentioned for that. Okay, we go back to the text. Well, just now he quoted an example, meaning to say that once nowadays they discover that once you analyze the matter to the finest part, it goes to the quarks, and it makes us realize that the quark actually itself is from a field of energy. Meaning to say, wherever we see here, there is the influx of the energy, all the different energy they support to each other, and also once you go to see the Glapa, proton, all this type of thing, a neutron, basically all the component itself, it doesn't exist independently. They must be based on the condition. So the whole world actually is the influx of the energy and based on many conditions. This is how this Madhyamika mentioned to us that this is the real world they see. Anyway, for the Madhyamika, because they assume that you know Abhidhamma well, so they never mention Sila Samadhi. Immediately they talk about the wisdom part. So you have to meditate in order you can see the thing by using the Samadhi, you will see the world, what the Nagarjuna mentioned. Okay, let's see. Okay, let us comment here. He said that Sunyata Vadin, Sunyata Vadin in Mandarin we call Zhongguan Pai lah. Vadin means the school lah. The school mentioned to the Sunyata. Let's take a look. We have to go back to the history a little bit lah for this let's see Sunyata Vadin. Sunyata Vadin actually it belongs to the Mahayana school, which have been segregated. About I think after 200 years after Buddha Parinibbana. Let's take a look. So this is the Vibhajavatin. So Vibhajavatin, you're able to see the Tamra Satya. So this is the nowadays Theravada school. Okay, well, for my Vinaya text, it's under Dhammakoptaka. So both of them, they are brother 2,300 years ago. Let's take a look, this diagram. Okay, let's see. So this is maybe you're able to see, but you see, just tell you the year. So this is the nowadays Theravada. So this is my Dhamma is before Christ 200. So meaning to say about 2,300 years ago, actually we are Dhamma brother with the Theravada school. Okay, in terms of the Vinaya. If in terms of the Nikaya, we are the Dhamma brother 2,300 years ago. Because Nikaya, we notice that nowadays Theravada and the Sarvastivada, they share 90% similarity. See or not? Before Christ. But if you don't study history, you don't know. You forget. Actually, we are brother 2,300 years ago. So I remember I met one Interpol. So he go to do investigation in Myanmar. So he asked me why they look like that, why they pindaba, why I wear like this. So I mentioned actually we are brother. It's about 2,300 years ago. So the Malay inspector said, sangat lama lah. Memang tak boleh kena. 2,300 years ago. Of course, so that's why I remember I was once go to the market. I saw a Theravada monk. So I buy rice to put the bowl. So he insists to chant for me. So my heart, I keep on mentioning that actually I'm also a monk. But 2,300 years ago, we are brother. But now I hold the money so I can give you some food. Something is, it's too old already. So actually, by knowing this history, it will promote more unity between the sectarian within the Buddhism. But for Theravada, because they're very orthodox, quite hard for them to understand and accept this type of concept. But for the layman, yes. So the layman understand that you can promote more unity between Theravada and Mahayana. Okay, see or not? This is a good way we do it. Because for us, the recognition meaning to say that you can use the text. Because you can compare if you don't understand. Will enhance your understanding of the Dharma and the Vinaya. For the monk, it's the Vinaya. Anyone hope to become Tuan Chichutia? Anyone wishes to go one day? Elena, Sally, do you aim for Tuan Chichutia temporary no-worship program? Have you aimed for that before? No. You don't have ambition to do that. Yes.
The one day, that one is 八关斋戒,
that's too short already. What I mean is really become a bhikkhuni. If you aim to become a bhikkhuni, then you can.
At least a week,
Then you can compare the original text from the Theravada in English to the Chinese. You can compare both of it. Because 2,300 years ago, it's come from same text actually, 2,300 years ago. So a lot of similarity you can compare. And easy understand. I mean for the Theravada text in Mandarin, in English, you can understand better than the classical Chinese because they translate in the Tang Dynasty. That one is very tough sometimes for me. Okay, let's take a look. We try to finish this. Okay, so Sunyatavati, she say lack an inherent nature, share an empty non-nature as their nature. See, not share non-empty nature as the nature. Nature itself is a non-nature. They say that cannot ultimately be distinguished. One Dharma, you cannot distinguish it. Okay, why? Because the share nature is the emptiness sunyata. For this, wherever is material form, there's an emptiness. This one is a 色不異空，空不異色This one， 聽過冇？廣東話色不異空，空不異色Is this? That is the same, very famous. Usually in the movie, some monk, in order to catch the demons, they will chant 色不異空，空不異色. They thought it's a mantra. Actually, no, that is the wisdom. Because for movie purpose, I think the screenplay writer not really understand. So they just put it into the movie. It looked very interesting, but actually this is not a mantra. That is the true meaning behind the wisdom of the Buddhism. So that's why if you understand Buddhism, you see the movie. Very ridiculous. The screenplay writer, they don't know that better. Okay, see, no such self-existence, substance exists. No such thing. The whole way is what? Web of influxing, interdependence, and baseless phenomena. That's the baseless. This is through the vipassana. You view the world in the vipassana. That's what we see here. So you see, wherever is a conditioning arising, is emptiness, is dependent destination, prajñapti. Everything is a prajñapti. So what is meant dependent destination? Meaning to say that depends to each other to form that. That is the prajñapti. Okay. So let me try to finish first. Okay, next you see, that is the adjective quality of the Dharma, adjective. Then it said that it is neither a thing nor it is its emptiness. It cannot be captured by the concept. So meaning to say the Nibbana itself is very abstract. You can use the words to describe it. So that is the physics we mentioned just now. Okay. Then we come back again here. So it said that the Dharma with the inherent nature is a 自性见 with the inherent nature, 有自性 meaning to say it can exist by itself. A class, inherent nature meaning to say that it can be exist by itself without based on condition. So if the path had inherent existence, it could never be gradually developed to the perfection in a person. Because the thing called the inherent existence, meaning to say that the defilement always is the defilement. And if it's a defilement always the defilement, the sage always is the sage, meaning to say we can't become the sage. So that's why this is the wrong view actually. So meaning to say that once things subject to change, we can become the sage. Then everything would be the static and eternal. So you see, it's because everything is empty, there could be the activity. So that is the meaning for the the emptiness. Yes, Mr. Leong, question please.
Sifu, is there anything here related to Paticca Samuppada?
Paticca Samuppada, yes, because it got something related. Let me see first. Well, basically, actually, Paticca Samuppada is trying to establish the karma, the existence of the karma. So this is based on the condition. So meaning to say, Mr. Leong, if there is an inherent nature, there's no Paticca Samuppada. Since there is there is no such thing as an inherited nature, there is the Paticca Samuppada. So we can establish the karma, and at the same time, we can be purified through the process of the Paticca Samuppada. Yes, there is.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yes, okay. So any question? We start our class today. So meaning to say today what do we learn is about the sunyata. So in English, we understand that the things are based on the condition. Then once all the condition comes together, it will become a prapancha. We call it as a conceptualization. We used to conceptualize the whole world. We label Sally, Elena with a name for communication purpose. But the language itself, it doesn't mean behind the language itself, it doesn't mean the truth. But it doesn't mean it is not the truth. And we used to attach to the label behind something. So in Buddhism, we try to analyze the things until to the finest particle, then we're able to see the ultimate truth. Okay, that's the class for today. Yes, Mr. Leong?
Sifu, regarding this sunyata, this emptiness, is it relating to the Heart Sutra?
Yes. Heart Sutra actually belongs to the Sunyatavatin. It belongs to the school of the Sunyatavatin in Mahayana. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, Ananda?
Sifu, so just now we are talking about the emptiness, which is the there's no such thing as an inherent
Inherent nature.
Yeah, there's no inherent natures. So let's talk about because just now Mr. Leong mentioned was Paticca Samuppada, which is the dependent originations.
Yes.
Like our life circle is actually start from the
Avijja, ignorance.
Avijja, ignorance.
Yes.
So this Avijja ignorance is also must be from a multi factors that supports the Avijja, then only it can forms, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, the Avijja itself, it don't have the inherent natures.
Yes, that's true. So in Abhidhamma, to try to explain now what does it mean Avijja. Actually, Avijja itself is the what we call as it's a 痴心所啦. It's a 痴心所. Meaning to say that so this one the Chatasika also come from different component. So Avijja itself is still from different conditions to form it. That's true. Yeah. Okay. That's the answer.
With different conditions, like can you explain more about the different condition? Because as what I understand here is once our Avijja is still there, we have not eliminate the Avijja.
Yes.
So we will still be leads to the next life.
Yes. So you want me to explain what avijja exactly from what condition? Am I right?
Yeah, because as from the today's class about the emptiness, so all things arise. It depends on many conditions. It is not only from one factors only. It's from multiple factors.
Yes, sure, yes. So you want me to explain what avijja come from, right? Right. So in the Abhidhamma definition, avijja itself is the what? It's a moha. It's a moha. So moha itself, it comes from many conditions. For example, let me show you. I think I have to show you, then you can know it better. Let's see first. Okay, let's see. We have to go to the chapter number 2, Abhidhamma. Okay, I think quite hard to show. I will show you later on. So in the chapter number 2, we are able to see the moha. So moha itself is the definition of the avijja. So the moha itself is a cetasika. Okay, so from this cetasika, it will create the whole thing. I mean, the moha itself actually. Moha itself is not enough. To make us the reincarnated. So it had to combine together with we call it as the attachment. So the attachment, all this kind of the cetasika, it combined together, Wu Ming, her eye, both together. Then we start to create the condition to make us keep on reincarnated. So both of them actually is the cetasika, and the cetasika itself actually, if you further analyze, it also comes from different conditions. So this is how we can explain only, 中解. That's the most we can explain until to this level only. It go to the 自性所啦. For the 无明就是自性所来的咯. That is the cetasika itself. Okay? Okay. I will quote you later on. Now I will show you that.
Okay.
What is that? Okay. Okay, we transfer the merit.
Thank you.
Yes, let's take a look. We go to the next chapter. Once we go to the next chapter, we'll talk about what is the skillful means and the transcending of the will. So from here, once we finish, I think we'll start to go is to the, and we talk about, also we mention a little bit regards the Nagarjuna. Then after we finish the Nagarjuna, mention that we'll go, it's still got some ultimate truth and the thusness. Then we start to the Yogacara Bhumi. So remember that class once we talk about the Mahayana, it doesn't mean Amitabha or Yasif, it doesn't mean that. Usually the Mahayana means what? Yogacara and also the Madhyamika. That is the one of the Mahayana meaning in the Indian definition. Okay, so please palms together. I wish to inculcate more favorable consciousness
more favorable consciousness
through transferring merit
through merit
to my past life enemy and relative.
to my past life relatives and me.
May they be liberated
May they be
liberated
and free from suffering.
and free from suffering.
Attain Nibbana
Attain Nibbana
and helping others to do the same.
and helping others to do the same.
Yes, Elena, please.
Thank you, Master, for the class today. We pay 3 respects. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.